Greetings, grasshoppers. Great show for you today. Today, we're going to talk about how to make a big impact with your chatbot. And I've got a little surprise that I'm going to talk about as well. Welcome live viewers. Hey, if you're watching on the replay, cool for you. Thank you for doing that. That is awesome stuff. Today, I want to talk about how to make a big impact. I also want to say that my Black Belt bot is running during the show. If you want to subscribe, get a little reminder when I'm about to go live, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock, you can type the word live in the comments and my bot will automatically get a hold of you while we're sitting here. It's magical. Anyway, on to the topic, how to make a big impact. And this is something that my clients are asking me all the time, how to make a big impact. This is what people want to do. People are hearing a lot of stories about bots selling 10 million t-shirts and bots doing things that are pretty amazing stuff. I get it. I get it why people are putting those headlines out there. Totally fine, but it sets some strange expectations sometimes. And I want to set a couple of those straight. And I'm going to tell you how you can make a really big impact. So, setting a couple of those things straight, bots are not ideally a place where you get 10,000 people overnight. Ideally, that is not, because then you need to sort through 10,000 conversations and see which ones that you need to pick up. That's a big job. People are going to be waiting a long time, and that is not the way messenger bots were necessarily designed. That's not the optimum use. It sounds awesome. It sounds, beautiful when people are saying that kind of stuff, but I want to caution you against that because it makes bots seem like an overnight success and also a set it and forget it. Bots are neither. I will say that bots are neither a set it and forget it nor an overnight success. So I thought about this and I thought about this. What would be if I could only tell you one way to have a great impact with bots? What would it be? If I could only tell you one thing, and it is this. I want you to care. It seems like an odd directive, doesn't it? Let me explain. I need you to care. I need you to care about every step in your user's experience. Notice I didn't call them clients. I didn't call them buyers. I didn't call them sales. I didn't call them anything but what they are. They are people. They are people who are using your bot. They're people, they're just like you and me. They're people with questions and answers and expectations and feelings and everything else. I want you to care what their experience is like. I want you to care about taking that conversation that you're having in a bot and bringing it to a face-to-face conversation. I want you to care about doing those things. Sales come from doing these things. And other people, there are tons of people out there selling bots right now. Pick somebody's message you really respond to. But I'm telling you that the way that I make a difference with my bot, the way that mine makes an impact, is that I really care about the steps that people are going through. I care about the experience they're having. I care about what they tell me in their feedback. And I also care about what they're telling me through the click-through and the statistics and everything like that. Listen, I am a professional bot maker, and I have made a lot of mistakes with my bots. I had a bot one time that right off the bat asked you 10 questions about yourself. And that did not go over well. I had hardly anybody make it all the way through the experience. Why? Well, people didn't even know what they were really connected to yet, much less take the time to answer that many questions. 3 or 4 is fine. 2 is even better. But 10, 10? Really? No, I totally did that in a bot. And I figured out why people don't like that. And I took the feedback that I was given and I tweaked it, and now it's not like that anymore. Why? I deeply care about my users' experience in this thing. I deeply care because if I can learn it, then I can pass it on to you faster and you won't have to make the same mistakes. You may choose to, but you don't have to. Anyway, I tell you, bots are really novel right now. And novelty, my friends, is something that always wears off. Okay. Someday, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 3 months from now, I have no idea. It's technology. At some point, it's going to wear off that, oh, I'm asking questions and getting answers and the person isn't really there. It's a bot. That newness, that novelty, and that, oh my gosh, this is absolutely so cool. It's going to wear off. Okay. Listen, I still remember the first phone call I made while I was in the car. I wasn't driving, but I remember it was like, I am talking to someone and I am in my car right now. It was so beautiful. It is, I mean, now the phone answers the phone gets answered by the car and I just talk, but listen, those things, all that newness, all that, ooh, this is so cool. It rubs off. People begin to experience chatbots and then compare them against one another. And then it's going to be a whole new ball game. So here's what I want you to know from the very beginning. And if you haven't started yet, fantastic. Or if you're just getting started now, fantastic. I want you to know this. I want you to care about their user experience. I want you to care if they have a question or if you just said something and they can't figure out what it is that you just said, or if the messages are flying by way too fast. I did that as well. I forgot that I read really, really fast and most of the population doesn't. And most of my messages the delay times were set on like 2 seconds. So messages would pile up and people would get a little intense about that. I've made those mistakes, but I've been able to look at it, tweak it, turn it around, and make it a great experience. Here's why. So first of all, care to think around every corner, right? Yesterday, I was talking to a client of mine and she is doing a fabulous challenge. She wanted for people to be able to click a button in the bot and be able to go to a group and do a thing. Well, some technical stuff happened. I'll skip the geek speak for you. And that wasn't able, you could totally do it from a laptop. You totally couldn't do it from a phone. And there was nothing technical to be able to do about it. So what did we do? We sat and we thought of a workaround. We thought of a secondary way to make that happen for people that are on their phones, because we know what they want to do. We know that our job as bot designers is, hey, make it simple for people, make it so they're having an enjoyable time, make it so they understand what's going on. And it's up to us, it's up to us to make it work on the back end. Hey, Jessica, talking about you, darling. Jessica Payne, that is, you need to pay attention to Jessica. She is going to be releasing a 7-day challenge here really soon, and it is fantabulous. Anyway, so think around every corner. Now, you're not going to be able to think around every corner, right? You're not, you're not Johnny Carson who used to, I'm dating myself now, but the great Carmack or whatever he was, he would put an envelope against his head and guess the answer and then read the question in the envelope. Listen, you're not psychic, all right? I know that you can't think around every corner at first, but if you care enough to put yourself in the shoes of your client or your potential person or, person you've just opened a conversation with, if you care enough to put yourself in those shoes, then you will think around potential problems that they might have. Some of it will come up in testing. Some of it will come up after you've released your bot. It's out there in the wild. It's doing its thing. It's been out there a month. And somebody will run into something and you'll go, you know what? I think that's going to be a common problem. I'm going to come up with a pathway to help them get back on track. Jessica uses Carson in examples too. Fantastic. I'm not alone. That's wonderful. Okay. Fantastic. So think around every corner. Try to answer every question that they might have. Listen, pretend you are teaching somebody something and you don't know them very well. I mean, and pretend you're sitting across from them. You're trying to teach them a concept that you know a lot about and they don't know it very well. Think about the questions that they might have and put them in your bot. Answer those questions. I was working with a bot this morning. My friend Jen Belt, she's got this beautiful product that she is talking about all the time. She's got people in her direct sales team, and she has me do these little flash trainings every once in a while where I'll write a bot sequence for something her team needs training on. And she had the training, and then she had the FAQ about the training. It was beautifully done and a wonderful example of how think about every question they might have. Hey, Dale Maxwell. Dale's here. Hey, we're having a show now. That's what's happening now. All right. Welcome, Dale. Work through every problem they might have. Listen, I know that when I create something, when I personally create something, I am pretty darn sold on the value of that thing. Okay. I'm invested emotionally because I've invested my time and my time is worth something. It's valuable, right? So going through and testing it, sometimes I'm liable to think that everything is quite okay even when I'm trying to think around corners, when maybe there's some trip ups in there. I have a small circle of people that I give my bot to, and I say, please test this and please tell me objectively everything that you think might be able to be improved. Dale has a giggle for me. Very good. That's why I have a circle of people, because then they can look at it with objective eyes, because they also want me to do well in my business and they want me, they love me, but they're a little bit more objective when it comes to looking over things. And people can tell me, listen, you say this here, but then you use a totally different word here, and it might be confusing to people. If you think about every place that person could trip up, then you are creating a wonderful experience for your people. Think about everywhere they could trip up, smooth out that road, and you'll be providing a wonderful experience. Because that, my friends, that experience that people have, the way they feel, they're not going to ever remember what you say. They're going to remember how you made them feel. The way they feel going through that chatbot, that's what's going to bring them back to yours, instead of all of the rest of them that they've experienced. If you're coming a little bit late, I'm talking about, bots are super novel right now. Bots are super, this is so cool. The day's coming, people. The day is coming where it won't be novel anymore, and everybody's going to know what one is, and everybody's going to be subscribed to at least 5. How do you make yours an experience? How do you make yours, not only do they get to experience the personality, but the value of what they're telling them, all that stuff, great. But how do you enhance that experience and make it a really big impact? So when the novelty wears off, there's going to be the difference. When you have something that is thought around every corner, that has worked through every problem, when you are paying attention to this thing every day, when you are grabbing your cup of coffee in the morning, spending that 20 minutes going through your bot and going, what could be improved here? And looking at, if you feel like you are so emotionally tied to it, and trust me, I have this problem. If you feel like you're so emotionally invested in it that you might be skipping some of those problems, hand it to someone else. Hand it to a trusted human being and say, hey, would you give this a look? I have my circle when I'm testing, I have them test it. And I also have people go back through things with me a month, 2 months later with fresh eyeballs. Jessica says, peer review and beta testing is so important. I have learned this the hard way. I know. Listen, we are entrepreneurs, aren't we? We want to light the world on fire. We want to come out with it first and best all at the same time. And I have launched things before they were ready. I have now. That's better sometimes launching before you're ready than like waiting until eternity has passed to launch things. I've also done that. I'm all around the board. That's just how I am. But yeah, when I can put it through several other people and say, listen, I know you know how to be objective while still being kind, and I'd appreciate your review of this. I usually too, here's something that I do. I don't just pile it somebody's lap and go, hey, look at this when you have a chance and give me some feedback. People are your friends and they love you and they want to, encourage you along the way. That's great stuff. But I've learned that I get a much better response, and a much better response that gives me a ton of information if I ask them specific questions about what when I say, okay, here's the thing. Here's my specific questions that I want to know. When I do that, I get a lot of actionable information, and that's what makes your bot better than anybody else's. That's what's going to keep people coming back. When they see a notification from you, they're going to go, oh, what's she doing? What's he doing? What's going on? I want to be in their world. How do I stay connected? Instead of, they're trying to sell me something. Oh, please. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Jenny, I always launch before I'm ready. I can't help myself. And we love you for that. That is awesome stuff. Well, and that's all part of it too. Sometimes that just must be done. But still being able to review stuff. That's goodness. So in your bot, you can totally give them valuable info. You can totally give them your personality. All of that stuff is really, really great stuff. But if you can make them feel cared about, that's priceless. That's it. If you care enough to see around corners for them, work through potential problems, answer any question that they might have, then they feel cared about. And when they feel cared about, then they're going to care to look at your messages when you send them. That's what I think is going to make a big impact with your chatbot. That's what I think is going to make people choose you over other people. Because when the novelty wears off, it's there will be an attrition point. Right now, darlings, bots are the Wild West, okay? Anybody out there selling the 7-step secret plan to massive success with bots, please ignore these people. Because it's the Wild West. We don't even really know what's successful or not yet. I know because I've experimented with it, but a lot of people out there, shoot for the sky with success. That's great stuff. But man, I really want you to develop the proper mindset as you go through this. I want you to develop the proper mindset so that you can go and make a big impact and not just fall flat. Like I do see other people doing sometimes. So fantastic. Darlings, if you have any questions about this, I would love to talk to you. I could talk all day about bots and have recently. So do ping me if you've got questions. Again, if you want to be subscribed and get a little message 15 minutes before I go live, just type live in the comments, and the black belt bot, Spinning Dragon, will respond and subscribe you to my live list. And that is, if you've got any questions too, just pop them in the comments here. I'll stay on for a few minutes. I do want to talk about a new show that I'm doing. It is not on the Black Belt Bot page. It's in the Be Live group. Be Live is the software I'm using right now. It's what allows me to promote comments like this and do things like that. I've been using Ecamm Live for a while. Ecamm Live is really great software, but I have a spot in my heart for Be Live. So they have a really thriving community. Some of you are in it as well. And I'm going to be doing a new show there. The show is going to be on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. I'm going to be talking with Stephen Healy about bots and combining those with live streaming. And being able to put those together in a way that makes sense and helps people grow their audiences. So if you're a live streamer, if you're a geek like me who just loves to set up a microphone and get online, then, maybe pop over to the Be Live group. Catch us. That'll be Wednesdays at 11. And then also a further surprise for you all, because I love you. I am going to be expanding my show a little bit to have guests. Haven't done this in a long time. It has been maybe over a year since I've had regular people be able to pop in on the show. Reason why is just because it just got a little unwieldy there for a minute. And I thought, well, I'll just get on by myself and that'll be fine. And it is fine, but I miss being able to answer questions right as you have them. I miss being able to talk to you about your experiences with bots. I do think that will be interesting stuff. So we're going to start doing that next week. Next week, if you type in guest, then you can sit in my hot seat and we will talk about bots together. So that's coming as well. Well, that's it for today. Seeing no more questions. You are absolutely lovely people. Thank you for stopping by. And as always, care first. Care first. The technology will follow you. Care first. The sales will follow you. But care first. Open a relationship. Don't close a sale. And bots will be very good to you. Great topic. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you also for wearing the Wonder Woman crown in your profile picture, because it's fabulous. All right, my darlings. Well, that's it for now. And as always, I will see you in a bot.